to UFO Buster Radio with your hosts, Manny Moonraker and Big O.
Hey everybody, how you doing? This is UFO Buster Radio with your hosts, Manny Moonraker and Big O. Now, this is our 14th installment. Thank you for joining us. Hey Manny, how you doing today?
Hey Big O, we're back again, episode number 14, and we have some stuff to talk about, specifically regarding the Phoenix incident video.
Wait. What's today?
Well, today is March 13th, which marks the 19th anniversary of the Phoenix incident.
So, you guys in Phoenix, y'all all saw thousands of people claimed, supposedly. Now, I never got that. We'll get back to that. But thousands of people saw this huge incident, huge UFO incident, which is cool. You know, I am excited. I wish I was in Arizona right now. You know, celebrate it.
You and me both, because I would love to be over there just hanging out with all the people that are hopefully sharing their experience with what was the topic of that specific film.
And what film are we talking about?
The film, The Phoenix Incident.
Oh, okay. So, in the film, right? By the way, I wish I was able to see the film. I was unable to see the film because I actually worked third shift. But Manny, I believe, went to see the film. And I'm dying to know all the information, as much information about it as possible. So what you got, man?
Well, to be honest, I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to do any spoilers on the film because it's going to be, again, in theaters on April 8th from what the website says. If anyone wants to look at the website for the film, it is www.phoenixincident.com. So the film itself was released on March 10th through Fathom Events, and anyone that's been to a Cinemark or an AMC theater always sees these commercials right before the movie starts where you can have an event at a theater, and this is where I saw it on March 10th.
Yep, at the time, because they only have select times, right? Like it was almost... It's not like you can go in at any point in time. It was a select time.
Yeah, there was just one time to watch it on that one day.
So I'm going to see if I could make plans to take off April 8th, you said, which is on a Friday, to actually see the movie. And hopefully there's more stuff added to the movie because I hear the director, he's adding more stuff to it.
As a matter of fact, through Facebook, through the magic of Facebook, wish we had like little magical sounds right now. I was actually in contact with the director of the Phoenix incident, Keith Aram.
Oh, that's exciting.
And it really was. The guy really seems genuine, as of course I posted on Facebook. And he answered my questions.
Ooh, I wonder if we could get him on the show one day.
Maybe one day. Now, the questions I had was regarding the amount of fiction in the film, and when you see it, those people who follow UFOs and are concerned about hoaxes and fake UFOs and so forth, you'll understand why. However, the film itself is really good quality, and I think everyone will enjoy it, and really it will open your eyes to the other possibilities of what could have happened in Phoenix that day.
You see, the other thing I want people to understand, that I don't want people to think this is a sci-fi movie. This is more of a documentary, something that actually happened, and they're trying to pull together all these stories, right, and make a storyline of events that actually happened. This is not, some dream writer who decided to put this all together because something might have happened. They took some facts. No, this is what supposedly happened, and they're trying to put it together so that way you guys can have a better understanding of the truth. I am 100% behind this.
As a matter of fact, the premise of the film is that the investigators actually received military information about what happened that day, and through the magic of film and motion picture, they were able to piece it all together.
Kind of like recreating a crime scene.
Exactly. So with that information, they were able to kind of paint a completely different picture of what we, the public, saw back on that day, March 13th, 1997, over Phoenix.
And that's very key. It's not trying to make up stuff. They're taking factual evidence, right? And they're recreating exactly what happened. It's the same thing that archaeologists do, It's the same thing that people who study cultures do. You know, it's not fake. They're using real scientific methods, right, to give you a viewing of how things going on. Unlike Discovery, like the whole thing with the mermaids killed me. I still was with the mermaids until I found out it was fake.
So at the end of the movie, sorry about that, Bigo, but at the end of the movie, there is a 45-minute panel which was filmed back at the last UFO conference. So on the panel we have Nick Pope. Of course, we know him from the Ministry of Defense and other famous UFO research, ufology type research. Also Lee Spiegel from the Huntington Post, Alejandro Rojas from Open Minds TV, and Stanton Friedman, our favorite nuclear physicist and UFO expert.
Mm-hmm. And he's in every documentary when it comes to UFOs. Every.
You know, and he should be, because the fact of the matter is he really does take that scientific approach to this.
Okay.
And also on the panel was Keith Aaron. And they were discussing not only the film, but they were also discussing ufology in general. You know, different incidents and what they mean for ufology now and in the future.
Well, ufology, like I said, it's a pseudoscience still. And we need to figure out how to make that into actual science, so that way people can hone their craft and all have the same idea of how to approach things, because everybody has their own way, and because everybody has their own way, it kind of blurs the line of truth, and it really doesn't help anybody.
It sure doesn't. And as a matter of fact, I think that anyone that really wants to take one incident and really look at it, apart from Roswell, any of those oldie but goodies, if you want to take one incident and open your eyes just for maybe 2 hours and really look at the possibilities of what's happening behind the scenes of many of these incidents worldwide, this is a perfect film to give you that insight so that you can see maybe how convoluted things can really be behind the scenes.
That was a really big word, convoluted.
So if anyone wants to see a clip of this 45-minute panel, it is available on YouTube, and we're going to post a link on the description for the show so you can check it out. But I guarantee you, if you have any interest in ufology, check out this film.
Now, I do want to talk about the Phoenix incident just a little bit, you know, to just kind of put things in perspective so that way they can see the movie. One of the many things that was inside the Phoenix incident was they saw these multiple lights in the sky. And this was the main media part. This is not talking about the movie, because just like you said, we don't want to do no spoilers, but there was multiple lights in the sky, and the United States military said there were flares. Now, I'm going to send Manny a link of a C-130. Have you ever seen a C-130 do Angel Flare? Beautiful. But they all do the same thing. They will shoot out and fall down to the sky, or fall from the sky. You know, gravity. Newton law, awesome. But in this incident, they just stayed perfectly suspended in the air, which is cool. What do you think, Manny?
Well, I mean, on top of that, you have all these reports from so many people in the Phoenix area that actually witnessed triangle ships flying over their homes. One including was the mayor.
But he claimed, remember, thousands of people, and it's only a claim. At one point, does a claim become a reality? You know,
well, keep in mind too that the mayor went in front of the public and had a news conference and had one of his cabinet members come out dressed as an alien to kind of make fun of the situation. But a few years later, he recanted it and said yes, that he actually witnessed the triangle ship itself.
Wow. I don't know. It's one of those things that, you know, would you do that to kind of stop the mass hysteria or panic of an impending possible doom or emergence? Or would you do that because, you know, you're being told you better shut up?
Well, you know, it's a matter of protecting the power that you have. So if you're the mayor of a major metropolitan city, do you go on national news, worldwide news, because this made it worldwide? Would you go on worldwide news and say you believe in aliens?
Well, technically, you know, facts are facts. You know, something that cannot be disputed is a fact. And if you feel so, and it's also your perception of reality. You know, if you feel there's an alien and you have thousands of people behind you, it's almost unrefutable. Why hide it? You know, why not just push it forward so that way we can have the truth?
Well, easy, because the military said it was flares. They were just dumping flares.
Yeah, just because, you know, they can over a civilian population. Makes no sense.
Exactly.
But it's okay. You know, I can understand if they was in the desert, you know, and doing low flybys and, you know, exercises, but to do that over a city population, it makes no sense. You know, they have so many protocols so that way they don't scare, and if they do, they will send out a mass media network telling everybody, hey, we're about to do sonic boom testing. They did that in my area the other day. They was doing sonic boom testing in the Gulf of Mexico, and we heard it, and they were like, "Oh, that was us. Don't worry about it."
Well, really, when you think about it, their claim that they were dropping flares as part of an exercise, in and of itself, should be investigated. Because with all this humongous empty desert, why would you drop flares next to a metropolitan city? Makes no sense.
That makes no sense. I'm telling you, like, it's like, and just like my theory before, if you are so, it's like they're pathological liars. They said it so much and they've been doing it for so long that when the truth is blatantly in your face, right, it would be too embarrassing to say, yeah, we've been dealing with this for a little while. No, they're going to lie until it's completely overwhelming. I think they're embarrassed by it at this point. It's either that, or it's a simple fact that there's actually a semi-hostile, or they still don't understand where they're coming from, and they don't want to create mass panic. That's the only other way.
Well, I can tell you this much. Watching the movie, I was initially sitting on the edge of my seat, of course, because this is something that's familiar to me, because I remember seeing this broadcasted on the news. After the first 15 minutes, I had to sit back. The new information, it's almost overwhelming.
It kind of blew your mind? You had the boosh moment? The boosh.
Oh, it did. It did. But here's the sad fact. Are you ready for this?
I don't know. Do I need tissues? Sad? Go ahead. I'm ready.
For us, it is. For us, it's sad. Because with all the people that we run across in our daily lives that believe in alien civilizations, UFOs, or what have you, there was only 15 people in that theater.
Really? Well, to be honest with you, it wasn't really mass advertised. You know, it's funny because if you watch, you know, if you put on TV and there would be like a phantom showing of Circus Olay, you know, or whatever, everybody knows it's coming on at whatever time. Or, you know, if there's a documentary on the Ethiopian kids who never have enough food, no matter how much money you give them, you know, there's always advertisement for that. But for something like this, I'm pretty sure they'll squash it down, or they made the director try to pay way too much money to advertise in certain areas. I kind of understand that not many people probably understood or knew this was coming out anytime soon. But I think we should make it public again, right? And just keep pushing it, because you're right. Everybody should take a look at it.
Well, you know what? That was one of my statements to the director, Kiefer, at the time that we were having the Facebook chat, was because initially the way the film was put out, it was through a viral campaign, where the campaign used a lot of clips from the film to kind of entice people. So Alejandro Rojas, which is now in the film, his Open Mind TV actually came across this viral campaign and put in an article on their website that these were hoaxes. And from back then till now, I'm sure he's already changed his mind, because he knows where this information... What the heck are you doing? What's all that noise?
Keep going. I'm done. Go ahead.
All this information that was picked up by Open Minds TV was actually put down as hoaxes, and Alexandra Rojas is now within the video. So it is something that needs to be put out there a little more, I guess, better advertised to really reach the masses.
Did he try Twitter?
It's everywhere. Except for like the main media, main media outlets.
Mainstream media. I think Twitter sucks. I'm going to put it out there. I hate Twitter.
No, Twitter's really good. Most of the show followers are on Twitter.
Really? Yes. Love you guys. I'm sorry. I'm just not with it. I don't know what it is about Twitter. And I only got one response to my little message out there. So I don't know. I'm done. But, I really do think, just like you said, that this event, this movie, and especially how it's like he's continuing the investigation and giving us more, that would be awesome. Let the people make up his mind. Stop going to the government again, because the government is not going to tell you. The government doesn't want you to know. Stop going to the government. We peoples have to convince other peoples, our society, especially Western culture, because we're special in so many ways. We have to convince us that we are more in control than the government leads us to believe, and we need to take charge and get this information out there.
Absolutely right. And like I said before, if you're interested in this video, please go ahead and visit the website. We'll post it in the description. Also, if you want to follow it in social media, you can use the hashtag #DiscloseNow as part of the way to follow trending events when it comes to the viral campaign. And besides that, like I said, if you really want to do yourself a service when it comes to ufology and something more current than Roswell, check the video out.
Let me also make this clear that we are not being paid by him, by the director. We're not getting any special privileges or anything like that. We just feel that this information needs to be put out there. Me and Manny have a passion to seek out truth, and the whole point of this episode was for you to take part in seeking out truth. That's all it is. And I wish my wallet was getting bigger by doing this, but it's not. And I really would love to talk to I want to be Facebook buddies with him. That would be so awesome.
Maybe one day.
One day.
Okay, so it looks like we're ready to head into the ozone.
Big O! It's showtime!
So in the ozone today, I want to talk about some gripes. Some things that I just don't like. I was looking up on the internet and there was a post not too long ago. I'm going to send the link to Manny so that way he can put it up. It was about, I believe it was a video through the Inquisitor.
Oh, I hate that website.
Oh, do you? So do I. Now, on this video, and on this whole little report, what they feel is factual, which is horrible. First thing to say is the title is UFO 30 meters in diameter found in hangar using Google Earth.
Now that's another weird thing, how people actually go through all the maps on Google Earth just to find these weird things.
Right? And it's just, now there has been some cool stuff using Google Earth. Like people found, ships on the water, and some people found treasure through Google Earth because they could see, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But this person, who is a UFO hunter, quote, unquote, right? He's been looking at the same area that's supposedly the same area that Bob Lazar was talking about. And as he's going, and he would look at the finished product, and it was like a big hangar with a half circle and 4 smaller hangars attached to the big hangar through a tube. Now, he goes back to the Google Earth. He goes back in time. And I guess there's a setting that you can go back maybe a couple of years. Now, as he goes back to 2003, there's nothing there. Then he moves it forward to about approximately 2008, which is where the supposed UFO hangar.
So where is this area that he's looking?
It's technically part of Area 51.
So they have a new hangar.
They have a new hangar. Now, here's what gets me. So if you look, and I'm rational, I truly believe there's something out there. Now, whether we're being visited, that thought of something actually visiting and being in contact, that wavers back and forth for me. Right now, something out there, definitely. I think there's definitely something out there. The universe is too big for nothing to be out there. So, with that being said, I'm looking at this with a rational mind. I'm looking at this because I want to see, okay, let's see the information that you're trying to display to me or convince me. And I'm looking, and he does this, I guess you could do like a measuring thing. It looks like they're starting to build a hangar, and there's a half circle of a structure, and he assumes that that is the UFO, and then he takes the little measuring thingy, and he measures from one point to another. There it says 30 meters because of that satellite is able to do that with the program, whatever. I have a huge problem with this. There's no angle. You can't see it from any side angle. And anybody who's in construction knows that if you're building a certain type of structure, you need a foundation, and the foundation usually follows the building. So if you go forward to 2015, right, that half circle structure is covered in a half circle dome from that building. It doesn't look any bigger than the half circle structure.
See, so, this is where the problems come in when people are using these photos, these images, to try to look for that smoking gun. It's never there. It's like the guys who do it for Mars.
Right, just like with the whole face on Mars and the pyramid and all that stuff, and that
the
is
squirrel,
just,
the cat, the dog, the lady.
You know, the alien giving the finger, whatever the case may be. You know, it's too much. People, let's look at the facts. Let's look at this with a reasonable mind. Stop looking at sci-fi channels. Stop playing your games, right? If you want to get down to business and really find out what the truth is, stop trying to entice people with something that has not happened. Or just because your perspective of reality is so pro E.T. because you was affected by the Steven Spielberg movie, stop doing that. Not everybody's the same reality. We don't see what you see. And we're not going to, especially if you have to, enhance the image, decrease the image, turn the negatives or turn it into negatives, and then put, all kinds of fronts. No, stop doing that. If it's not it, then it's not going to be it. Move on. The other thing, another video I saw, it happened 2 days ago. It was at the at the International Space Station. And they were saying cigar-shaped. And every time I see cigar-shaped, I think of your comment of Hillary Clinton going to office. But
she's not, again, let me just clear that up. Hillary Clinton did not use the cigar.
It doesn't matter. Bill's going to be there too.
Well, he can use all the cigars he wants.
Obviously, he's a pro. So it was a cigar shape, supposedly.
I wonder if Trump's going to use one.
I don't think does Trump smoke?
He doesn't really have to smoke, does
So off subject. Back to subject. Anyway, so there was a cigar shape in perfect speed, not moving pattern with the United States. I say United. Keep saying United. With the International Space Station, and it was the clip is about a minute 10 seconds, and it's in perfect sync with the International Space Station. Now behind it, you can see the Earth rotating perfectly. You can see the small satellite spinning in circles on the space station, and in the distance is a fuzzy picture of a cigar-shaped, whatever it is, unidentified flying object. But everybody wants to make this huge, big deal about it, and the problem is there is so much space debris from boosters, from Atlas rockets, that it could be anything. Right? So what? Unless it changes direction, if it's being flown by something, I don't care. Stop posting it.
Even with that, NASA has shown a lot of times that when these particles are so close to these cameras, they tend to change direction if someone shoots off a thruster. And it gives the illusion of intelligent control.
Okay. Well, I don't believe in NASA. Because, they have a tendency to lie, right? And they have a tendency to hide stuff, in my opinion, right? It's not NASA's fault. I think they're controlled by a bigger government, which is okay. I feel that if they are showing a giant booster rocket or a giant object and it's not changing in any direction and is keeping in perfect sync, and no matter how much you see it, it stays in that sync, right, and is not moving, then it's space debris. because there's no point for, I feel, there's no point for an alien species to just hang out and look at you while you're looking at them. I think we're past that. I think we're past, aliens wanting to just hang out and say hi. I think, I'm hoping that we're past the whole anal probe thing. I just don't want to think about that. I think we're past all that. I think we're at the point where if it's not being controlled, it doesn't look like it's being controlled by an intelligent life form in any way, shape, or form, drop it, let it go, move on. Because that's when you start blurring the line, and that's when people looking at you like crazy and looking at you like you're crazy and saying you're just hoping that unicorns and the fairy godparents and the tooth fairy and Santa Claus still is alive, don't you?
All this type of information, when it's out there, is what really makes people seem crazy when it comes to ufology.
Right, because it goes to the extreme. And it's not, and the sad thing is, if you look at ufology as a whole, right, it's not the big things that everybody has problems with. It's all the little things. It's like, okay, everybody who I talk to all believes that there's something out there. Everybody. With the exception of Donna. Donna just feels that there's angels out there. And, we love her. Okay. But everybody who I generally talk to, right, in my little group of friends, they all believe the same thing. There's something out there. Whether we've been visited or not, or currently being visited, is the real question. So if we all establish that the fact that there's something out there, right? And the only thing we're trying to establish is whether or not we've been contacted or being currently contacted. That's what we should focus on. Not trying to figure out proof. Oh, look, UFO. What is it? I don't know. It's a UFO. But what is it? It's a UFO. I mean, it's stupid. It's a spiral answer. What is it? It's a UFO.
I think as part of our show, we should maybe advocate people really going out there and doing real research, not just sitting behind your desk looking at pictures and sitting around downloading all these files from the Mars rover or downloading them from Google and looking for anomalies. People should really get out there, kind of like in that film, and do some research, talk to people.
Not only talk to people, find inklings. This is the key thing. We need to find inklings, things that matches, things that could actually move forward. It's almost as if, I'm pretty sure everybody has watched CSI or NYPD, Special Crime Unit, whatever. You have to pile on the evidence so that way it is indisputable, because the truth cannot be denied. Never, ever, ever.
Well, you know what, Big O? You should probably contact these guys from these videos and see if you can get a statement from them.
Oh, man. That's like starting a war, because you know how I am. So, actually, that's a really good idea. Have them come on the show.
They might not want to be honest. They probably won't. They probably won't want to come on the show. Heck, we can't even get psychics to come on the show. So, we can just maybe email them, find out what they're about, and maybe that'll give us insight into why is it that they're doing this in this fashion.
And it's not even the fact, okay, there are some people that feel that they have been abducted by aliens, right? I'm not saying that it's true. I'm not saying that it's not true. There's nothing beyond the realm of possibility. Maybe through your perspective, in your reality, you have been abducted by aliens, which is interesting, right? I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I want to know. How do you know? Like, some of the incidents that I've seen, that people will find strange and foreign objects in them, right? Everybody have seen this video or heard of a story about somebody being abducted, and when they came back, they were disorientated, and when they did some type of MRI or scan or whatever, there was a complete foreign alien objects inside their body. That's cool.
Well, the thing is, anything, any kind of object that's in your body, it's alien.
Yeah, but who put it in there? See? You don't know who put it in there. And they don't have no scars on the part of the body that it went in. So, even if it traveled, still, that's amazing. We need to find out stuff like that.
Well, listen, if anyone has information for Big O as far as alien objects in the body, you can reach us at ufobusterradio@gmail.com or through the comment section of the show on Spreaker, iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you can find us. Just send us an email.
Hey,
also,
hit us up on Facebook.
Oh, Facebook, perfect. You can hit us on Facebook. We're trying to grow an audience there and follow us. Also, Big O, what's your email?
It's real simple. TheBigO82@gmail.com. DABIGO82@gmail.com. Somebody email me. Just say hi. My email is empty. And I miss you guys. I'm lonely.
Well, you know what? We actually had someone ask us on YouTube, who's Big O?
Who is Big O?
Who is Big O? So why don't you let them know who Big O is?
Big O has an ENTP personality who likes to challenge people's views. I also do airboat tours around NASA, space station, space center. Is it space station or space center?
Yeah, the station's in space.
Okay, well, I do airboat tours in Florida around NASA, and I'm still. Well, fun fact, by the way, when a NASA rocket goes off, the safe distance from that rocket is approximately 12 miles. The vibration from that can actually stop your heart. So when I'm doing an airboat tour and there's something going off, I have to stay away. I had to find that out because they, almost put cuffs on me the other day. But anyway.
Yeah, videotape that. You gotta videotape that next time.
No, that's documentation. We're not trying to put documentation of my life out there. Ever. Other than my voice. Because it's so good.
So listen, for the next show, I think we're gonna go live.
Ooh, live. Now, we were supposed to have somebody to come on and interview, but he wasn't able to. I'm hoping that he will give us a call for live. Maybe Manny would contact him and see if we can get things ramped up. Or, for the next episode, not the live one, we're going to have a couple of more interviews lined up for you guys.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that maybe we got our signals crossed or the time frame incorrect, but I'm pretty sure that we can connect with him during the next following week and get his experience with UFOs. And also, we may have someone else joining us next weekend on the live show, which could offer us a little insight into more blue-collar perspective on the topic.
A professionalism?
And professionalism too, as a matter of fact.
Yes, absolutely. He has to be very professional.
Very professional.
Yes. I mean, speaking of that, just putting out there, you guys, after checking out our show, feel free to check out Dave's Morning Show. Really cool guy. He's on 7 days a week, 6:30 Central, and he is hilarious. Him and his whole group of people that he talks to.
Yeah, so the show is actually 5 days a week, Monday through Friday.
Are we done?
Yeah, I think we're done. It's time to wrap it up.
All right, from Manny Moonraker and Big O. See you on the flip side.
Ciao.
Buster Radio with your hosts, Alan Raker and Big O.
Welcome to UFO Buster Radio, episode 15. Congratulations, we made it to number 15. And with your host, Mandy Moonraker and Big O.
Yeah, this is Jerome. Jerome. I done took over the show.
We got an infiltrator.
Yeah.
Today we have Jerome from Dave in the Morning, and we have Dave also.
Hey, how's it doing, guys?
Hey, what's happening, Dave?
What's going on, Dave?
I've got a headache already, man. I've got a headache already. Just like, 2 minutes on your show, and I'm already split. All of the voices are going crazy up in my crania.
Oh, man. Today's going to be one interesting show with everybody and the gang. Dave bring his own, posse over. So it's going to be one great show. What do we have today, Manny?
Yeah, what we have, man?
So today on the show, we're going to talk about Planet 9 real quick because there was an update regarding this Planet X Nibiru thing. And apparently the scientist who killed Pluto he's finding more evidence that there is a ninth planet out there on the outskirts of the solar system.
Oh, Wormwood?
Wormwood, that's right.
Yeah, okay. All right. So, what's up? That was it?
So that was it. Basically, there's more stuff.
He
says right now the probability that their calculations are incorrect are 0.001% or something like that.
And
maybe they need to get a new calculator. Mm-hmm.
They're probably using the old school calculators with the little sun visor. You know how they fade out, and they probably misplaced a decimal.
Oh, you know what? Before we get started, you need to ask Dave and Jerome and the rest of the gang your question.
Oh, that's a really good question. All right. So, Dave, Jerome, and everybody else that's there.
Is Dr. Patel there?
I guess not.
Of course I'm here.
There he is.
Okay, so here's the question.
Yes, yeah. David does not lift me up as much as he used to because maybe he's an idiot. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I heard that Patel is a specialist. So, now, this is the question, and especially directed to the entire posse of Dave in the Morning Show. It's, if you was confronted and there was an extraterrestrial right in front of you, and you're staring at it, and they're staring at you, no more than a couple of feet away, what would you do or say? Now, reminder, you're basically representing as an ambassador for the human race. So anything that you can do or say can be ultimate peace, technology, and health and great stuff, or death and destruction for all.
Well, now that you mentioned it, what I would do is I would jack their UFO, and I'd sell it on YouTube or Ustream or something. No, eBay. That's what I'd do. Mm-hmm. I'd jack him. I'd say, come here, you funny looking little thing. I just take it, man. I just take it, Kyle.
Mm-hmm. You're just gonna take the stereo, huh?
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, me speaking as Dave, I don't know what I would do, to be honest with you. I would be, I don't know, because the fact is that there would be such a shock factor,
I feel
Guido,
the same
what do you
way.
think? Let me ask. Hey, Guido, come here. They want to know what would you do if you saw a UFO. What? Ain't got no time for this stuff. Shut up.
Oh, Guido.
What?
Well, what do you mean you got no? What you going to put in?
So, hold on. This is not in my contract, okay? I got to do the show with the idiot, not you. Who is this?
Oh, well, maybe you can do the weather for the aliens.
Who is this?
It's Big O and Manny Moonraker.
The UFO dudes.
Oh, yeah, they're funny guys. Yeah, you guys are the guys with the funny, the UFO guys. Yeah, I know who you are.
Yeah. Did you know Big O's from New York?
How you doing?
We're doing good.
Good. Why are we on your show? We don't know anything. Dave, you're an idiot. What are you even doing on this show? You don't even know nothing about a UFO. The last UFO you saw was Donna.
Hey, where's Donna?
I don't do Donna. Not one of the voices I was given, buddy.
It'll be like, go, Cubs, go. Go, Cubs, go.
So you guys, okay, can I interview you guys? Let's do it. Can I flip this for a second?
Sure, go ahead.
How did you guys get into UFO stuff? Because I have no idea what it is.
That's real easy for me. I was completely not into UFOs. I mean, I'm a sci-fi fan, but I got a text at 8 o'clock in the morning from my friend Manny saying, how do you feel about extraterrestrial? And then later, he told me that, he wanted to invite me onto a show that he started 6 years prior. And I listened to the first ones he did, and I'm like, oh, I can throw him a bone, because he was good on his own, but I felt like since he had me to go back and forth with, the show can be a little bit better.
Okay, all right.
Somebody's
Let me
got a
ask
big
you.
head.
Hold on a second. Let me ask you two guys a question, okay? What is the weirdest thing you saw as a UFO? Huh? Come on, throw that back at you. Mm-hmm.
I think the weirdest thing I ever saw was probably about 6 months ago. I was driving down one of the roads that was under construction, and there was a UFO just went right by. It was pretty far up, but it was moving so fast, no sound, and it went right into the clouds.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. I'm good with that.
Okay.
I have never seen a UFO. Never.
The weirdest thing I've ever saw. It happened yesterday, actually. I got a random.
Was
Skype
that when you were
from
like naked looking in the mirror?
No. That happens every day in the morning. But I had a random Skype by this person named Dave, and he had the Skype video, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I didn't know who he was for a second. Then,
don't go. See right there. No, come on, stop that. All right. I forgot I had the camera on. Sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to scare you.
He was like, "Look, I got a new microphone. Look, it's gold."
I got my golden mic in, man. I'm on the golden mic, dude.
It was awesome. All right.
So I saw Dave. You joined our website.
I joined I'm a fan, guys. I'm a fan. I follow you guys. I'm like a stalker.
I can see that.
Yep.
Well, we're big fans of your morning show as well.
I actually am. Since I work third shift, I'm not able to get on because I get to sleep at like 5 o'clock in the morning. But every time I'm at work, as soon as I get on, either driving or whatnot, I listen to as many shows as I can with the signal I have with my phone. And I'm a fan. I enjoy Marty. I enjoy Donna. The whole thing with the bats, that was hilarious. The whole thing with the baseball bat is hilarious. So,
I don't know if you know it, that Donna is really my sister.
Yes, I do.
She's my baby sister. And that's the reason I think that's the reason that we gel so good, because she pretty much, until she tries to act like a radio guy, but she usually flows pretty good. Like Friday she was trying to read too much. So, sometimes I have to whack her with the bat to get her attention. By the way, how's my audio right now? Level, check.
It sounds good. See? Mic is working pretty good.
Picks up background though, does it? Hmm?
It does. It cancels out.
I got relatives here. I got relatives, man.
No, we can't even hear them.
No, at all.
Oh, they're back in the back room.
Oh.
I got them locked up until we're done.
So speaking of fans, we actually just made a new fan from the country of Ireland.
Ireland. Wait,
he
is
was
that
drunk.
the place with no snakes? Is that the place with no snakes? Or is it where is it?
No, I know it's really green.
Oh yeah.
He was drunk. He was drunk and he dialed the wrong website. He's like, what did I do? I blame you. I tell you, I don't know what I did. That was my Irish guy, by the way.
That was pretty good.
I'm here to Friday. What am I doing?
I don't know.
So listen, we want to welcome Michael Tom to the website. He also joined the website, and I think he might be joining us on the show pretty soon. Cool. He's also a big fan and researching Planet X, Nibiru, Planet 9, or what have you. So he's really active into that. So he's going to have some information, kind of like when our Donna visited the show and she was talking about Nibiru.
Okay. Now, I also want to...
She sounded to me like she had some experience. Yeah.
She sure did. She is quite informative when it comes to things like that.
When I was listening to her, I was like, why is my sister doing... Wait a minute. She sounds too good to be my sister. Because Donna's like me. She's like very unorthodox. But your Donna's like, very, she has good lingo and smooth talking. Yeah.
She's very calculated.
And she walks around with a rooster, too.
Oh, the demonic rooster.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Really?
So, yeah, she does. She had towards the end of the show. You gotta listen towards the end of that interview, right? The rooster. Every time we spoke something, said anything.
Just when I thought she was normal. See, you guys messed me up. As soon as I thought she was normal, all of a sudden, oh yeah, she's got a demon rooster.
She announced it as the demon rooster, demonic rooster. I'm telling you, it's
Maybe
evil.
she needs some little hey, come here, Jerome.
For some fried chicken, some demonic fried chicken.
Hey, somebody say something about chicken?
He fried up right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if it's a rooster. Don't matter to me. They all look the same in the pan.
By the
They
way,
sure do.
Crisco, with the flour, some salt and pepper.
before you leave, I'm gonna need that ribs recipe.
Well, you have to see. You have to tune in on Monday because I'm going to be bringing my brisket recipe. But you know, I tell you what, though, good barbecue's hard to find up here. They got a guy up here in Rockford. They call him Dickie's. Dickie's Barbecue. You ever heard of him?
Oh, sure. Well, we have him here in Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would. That guy look weird, man. First of all, if he's not a brother, he can't make barbecue. Okay, number one. I don't care if famous Dave, famous Dickie, or whatever. I just rather go to Bo Diddley's. Bo Diddley's Barbecue right here in Chicago.
Bo Diddley.
Get a song and a cue. White people don't know how to make barbecue. You know that. You know that. They don't. No, I'm not being racist. All white people don't know how to make barbecue.
Wow. All right. So, moving on. We're going to actually talk about UFO stuff now. The show is UFO Buster Radio. So, let me go into my topics.
Yeah, I'm sure you got plenty.
Always up in the crania. Oh, I stole that from Dave.
Ooh.
Now, the first thing I want to talk about is famous football star Aaron Rodgers. He's a quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. And
oh no, you did not. Oh no, you don't. You.
Yeah, buddy. The Green Bay.
We all know he's a
cheesehead. Oh.
I don't like Aaron Rodgers.
Why is that?
Because he's a cheesehead. We're on the border, man. I'm literally 7 miles from the Wisconsin border. They try to come into Illinois. We start shooting.
Oh.
Start shooting him. So this might explain why he is the way he is.
Exactly. So he said that he saw a UFO in 2005, which is great, but it's 2016. He waited 11 years to come forward saying that, you know, he's convinced that he saw a UFO. I have a couple of problems with that. You know, it's kind of like a pro and con. Like, why would a quarterback making X amount of money will come out in public and say that he saw a UFO? You know,
I'll tell you the reason why. Hold on just a second. I'll tell you the reason why. Because he got hit by number 52.
Oh.
That's what he saw it.
Okay.
So something got jarred in his cranium.
Yeah, he got jarred up. He also stated that, you know, that he was carrying a UFO back in 2005. This is when he was back in New Jersey. What ended up happening is the moment that he saw the UFO, he also heard alarms coming from a nuclear plant. And then he also heard a distinct sound of jet fighters. You know,
is he jumping on the bandwagon? What is he talking
don't forget
about?
all the bells. He was there. He had a bunch of bells ringing too.
But this is the crazy thing. Like, what does he have to gain from this? He doesn't really, other than publicity. But really, does he have anything to gain? Because when anybody who claimed they saw a UFO in general public, they will look down on him. So is it real or is it not? Is he trying to do this for publicity and trying to get his name pushed forward as the NFL quarterback that saw a UFO and is a believer that he saw a UFO? Or is he...
I don't know. I'm with Jerome. This guy's nuts.
Well, really?
Now, don't I got to say is he's from Green Bay. That's all I got to say.
And he's white.
Yep. You noticed that too, huh?
The second thing I want to talk about is Hillary Clinton.
Oh,
now,
that's a sore topic.
We keep coming back to her.
Yep.
Bill won't come back to her, but, you know.
He's busy. He's got cigars.
There you go. What I'm saying is Hillary Clinton was on the Jimmy Kimmel again live on Thursday night stating that she's going to go back into office when she gets elected. Not if, but when she gets elected. She's going to go to the White House and try to disclose and try to get rid of the truth embargo of UFOs and wants to make that all public. Now, in the interview, I was kind of excited. I was like, yay, maybe this will happen. But then she said a secret sentence, and I posted on UFObuster.com in my blog. And what I posted was, she said this, and all hope is lost. She said, unless it's national security, I will not say anything. The only reason why I will not say anything is if it's going to threaten national security. So that means that even if she sees something that says UFO or the new term, UAP, right, because she stated that, there's no longer unidentified flying objects, it's unidentified aerial phenomenon. If she sees it, and if it's towards national security, that she will not say nothing. So I think that the United States government considers all UAPs national security, right? And it will never come out. So the truth embargo stays. Complete letdown.
So, well, I got a question. So when they land on planet Earth here, do they got to go through the TSA stuff like we do at O'Hare?
Oh, they have to go through the body scans.
I love that part. You know what? I tell you what. I saw that lady. They had this lady over there. She was a sister. And so I went over by her and I said, I understand y'all do cavity searches. And she said, yeah, we do. I said, can I get one?
So if you're getting...
It sounds like Jerome is ready for an abduction.
I think so.
Not to mention it, me and the sister hooked up.
Oh, nice. Nice.
She had an encounter of the fifth kind, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I bet.
only 5
yeah,
inches.
UFO. There's a UFO coming up in here.
Exactly.
You're going to lose all your listeners now, man.
Just turned explicit.
No, hold on a second. I wasn't saying nothing nasty here. I was just stating the fact.
Right. Now,
I know. Hey, Big O. See, here's what's funny. Manny's going, why do you got this idiot on here for? We can't even do our show because he's an idiot. I know what you're thinking, and it's true.
No, we're just letting it run. Just let it run. Just let it run.
Just flowing it through.
Just let it go through.
Let's see how much you edit down the show.
You did say that you're going to show us how it's done.
That's right, Jerome.
So I'm just listening. I'm trying to be, as professional as possible.
I was
come
just
up
thinking,
to your standards.
Now, this all started, just so everybody knows this, thanks to you two, this all started with Jerome because of the guy that left a comment on the Spreaker box, on the chat.
Yes, our personal little Jerome.
Has he ever called you? Have you ever showed up on the show?
No, never. That's okay. I mean, people could say negative things. We're okay. I mean, we're not exactly professional at what we do, and we just do it because we liked it. We like to do it.
Hold on just a sec. I have to disagree with you guys. If you were not professional, I would not be on your show.
Well, thanks,
Let's
Dave.
just say a lot.
That could go a lot of different ways, can it, boys?
Yeah.
They're like, okay, so what is he saying?
Man.
But no. But I have my critics too. Usually it's my wife. But I have folks. There's always going to be people that's not going to agree with what you do. But I will say one thing: your show draws a very weird bunch of people.
It's got its own little niche. It's got a niche.
Wait, hold on. Why they have to be weird? Why can't they just be different?
I said weird, but not a negative weird.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of like the dials turn just a little bit. They're pretty normal people until it comes to things flying through the air. And then all of a sudden they get all weird. They get to put on the thick glasses and everything and get all crazy. I was trying to do some research for the show because you know what? I'm totally out of my league here. You guys, this is your turf. I don't know anything. Honestly, I don't know anything about UFOs. As a matter of fact, I thought UFO meant unleaded fuel only. I never knew it.
Unleaded fuel only. Oh man,
that's a new one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I got one for you. You ready for this? Jerome, come here. Tell me this joke. And you know what astronauts put on their toast?
What's that, Jerome?
Space Jam. What? No, that's what you're down.
Oh man.
Okay, hold on just a second. What do they wear when they go to bed?
Space Jams?
Space Jammies. That's right.
Space Jammies.
to work this thing, guys. Okay, work with me. Okay.
I would like to apologize to all listeners right now.
Lost your whole market, man. This show will never lie. You will never air this show. I know.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to do this, and you know what? I dare Manny to not edit this, so that we just post it as is.
It's got to be edited.
Tune in. You're going to have to tune me out for tune in, if you know what I mean.
That's right. So listen, what do you guys think? You think Hillary's ever going to do anything regarding this UAP/UFO craziness?
Absolutely not.
It's all talk, man. It's all politics, dude.
Yeah, politics. It's just like that whole saying. Never believe a politic. They throw out their best lies while running for campaign, but do they actually really come through? Even if they have the best intentions to come through, because of checks and balances with the Congress and the Senate, it will never come through because everything gets blocked. So even if they come in with good intentions, they're going to come out with no intentions because they're done.
I think that if Donald Trump gets in, I think he'll do it.
Like, he'll do it to piss everybody off.
Exactly. That's what you need. You need someone who's going to piss everybody off.
I'm not a fan of Donald Trump, but there's some of his ideas that I kind of wonder if it's a good idea or not.
What ideas?
Like he was, and I really hate talking about politics. I really do. It's one of the things I rarely talk about. But, when he started talking about health insurance and the healthcare companies and how they have pretty much a monopoly here in the United States, and if he is able to bring in smaller healthcare companies, it would create a competition to lower prices and lower healthcare. I thought that was a really good idea. Now, would that actually happen? I'm pretty sure it won't. I think he won't get elected because of that. Because he's so unorthodox, and it's almost like he's a child. If he actually becomes serious, and present his views in a serious manner, I think he would get elected.
Good luck with that.
Right?
Mm-hmm. So, Dave and the gang, not too much experience with UFOs. What about the paranormal?
Ooh, yeah.
Well, I do got some Air Jordan.
How's that paranormal?
Well, they're normal to me.
Oh, okay. It's a pair, and they're normal.
What is it? Okay, tell me excuse me just a second. What is the definition of a paranormal? What is paranormal?
It's like a pseudo-science stuff that you can't really explain through science. So you have like ghosts and cryptozoology, like Bigfoot and things like that. UFOs.
This show.
Exactly, we're paranormal.
Exactly.
You're paranormals, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I used to have a girlfriend, and her name was Abby Normal.
But not paranormal. Did she have a sister named Paranormal?
No, she was Abby Normal. No, I don't know, but she was funny, man. She had like these big old eyes right between. She had one eye. That was it.
One eye.
But she could sing.
She could. No depth perception at all. Did she
said, "Look into my eye." I have I'm a born. I'm sitting here and I feel like about 2 inches tall because I don't understand or do anything paranormal. I mean, my life is paranormal.
All right, so let's think about it this way. What is your general religion? Because believe it or not, a lot of times when it comes to paranormal and beliefs in paranormal, it actually roots down to your religion. And you said you go to church every Sunday, correct?
I do. Yep.
What's your religion?
Like Muslim.
Wait, was that Jerome answering? It sounded like Dave.
No, that's me. I go. Jerome goes to the Baptist church.
Okay.
No, I like it when I walk in. Everybody looks at me.
That was hot. That was too funny.
Okay. I walk in and I look over there and there's Lewis and the rest of the guys. And I'm like, hey, what's up? I try to act cool with them though. I try to be hip. What's up, my brother? And they start throwing things, man. That's okay, but I feel love.
What is up, my homie? So here's my thing, okay? So usually Christianity, they don't believe in a purgatory. Either you go to heaven or hell, right? There's no
Monday through Friday at 6:30 a.m. is hell.
Right. Exactly.
On Spreaker.
Okay, all right. First of all, yeah, I'm going to let you guys in on something. I'm going to let you guys in on a deep, dark secret of mine.
Okay, great.
And I don't tell anybody. I'm not sharing this with anybody else.
But the radio show.
Okay, but are you ready for this? Are you guys ready for this? This is an exclusive on the UFO Buster Show.
We're ready.
That I am an ordained minister.
I kind of heard that. Then where did I see that? Is that on your website?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously?
Yep.
Huh.
22 years. 22 years as a pastor.
That's pretty interesting.
No, actually, I think I heard it on the show. I think you did mention it on the show.
22 years. And do you know the reason that I retired? I did retire, by the way.
Why did you retire?
I ran out of jokes. I did. I got tired of me.
Says, okay, I'm done.
No, I got up one day and I'm like, I'm out of here, man. They're like, are you quitting? I'm like, yeah. And they go, hey. They threw a party after I left.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. No, actually, all kidding aside, it's the thing that I really, it's the other side of me, because, there's many different lobes in my brain. But that's the one that I've actually enjoyed the most doing on all of my the things that I've done. And the reason is that I like to see people win. So some people that I've helped over the years in the ministry part of it, it's not just, see, a lot of people think ministry is just got to do with church. And that's not true. Church is where I get my money. But the ministry is when you go out and you help people and you don't charge them, which I do very seldom. If you ain't going to get no money, why do it?
There you go. It's all about the money.
I want to buy some oil. I got some oil, some prayer cloth. I'll send you a TV if you give me your email address. The reason that I retired is I love doing what I do. Even when for 22 years, I think what happened is I just got up one day and I said, you know what? It's ran its course. And
right.
So my son is actually the pastor of the church that I founded back in 1991. So, yeah, talk about UFO.
So now, right now, when we listen to you and when we see the pictures that you have on your podcast, it looks like you have kind of like almost like a professional, DJ kind of setup. Is that something you also used to do in the past?
Why, yes, I did. As a matter of fact, I'm glad you asked. Actually, those pictures on the website are when I was on WMCW AM 1000 in Harvard, Illinois, and also simulcasting live on WKKD Aurora. How'd you guys like that?
That was
that
great.
sounds professional.
Yep.
You might have to replace Big O.
I was telling Big O the other day when I talked to him. I says, I never received any kind of formal training in radio, okay? And so in order to be a DJ on a real radio station, you got to go to like Columbia School of Broadcasting or someplace like that, right?
Right.
So what happened is the guys that were in the radio station, all these guys were like trained DJs, and they all had the DJ voice, live from New York. It's Saturday night, but I couldn't do that. So what happened was I got on there because one of the guys was sick one day, and I got on there and I did my first Dave in the Morning show, and they hated me.
Oh, are you serious?
They would play commercials when I was talking to everything, try to get me off. But what happened was that the owners, who by the way were very sick people, they liked me. They thought I was a breath of fresh air to the station, so they made those guys let me be the morning guy, which is the number one position. Dave in the Morning. That's where it came from. So I was the morning guy. And so I would get on there, and everything I did was like raking their nails across the chalkboard. They hated my guts. And I had fun. Or did I ever?
And so that opened the door to the podcast. So why did you come around to do the podcast then?
I'm just frustrated.
Because you were frustrated.
As you guys know, the podcast, you can do what you want. And so, look at you guys. You guys do what you want. And you're good at it. But the morning show, when I do Dave in the Morning, it's unscripted. We just do it, man. We just don't care. And so we don't have to worry about commercials. We don't have to worry about the bosses. We don't have to worry about what people think. We just do it like you guys, man. You guys are the same thing. Birds of a feather.
Yeah. I think when I first started with Manny,
it was a nightmare.
I was winging it so bad. It was horrible. But now, as you say on the morning show, I feel like it's getting better. And I think
I would not say it if it wasn't true.
Yeah, I think I'm getting a little bit better. at it.
Oh, you guys
Man,
did a lot better.
and my entire goal every time I get on the show is to make Manny laugh, because he always tries to be this professional, and it's funny when I make him laugh, and then he edits it out. So
the collection of bloopers that we're going to be
stop
publishing.
talking over me. Good Lord.
I'll edit you out.
I want to say this so that way everybody knows. When we get 100 followers, we're going to release our blooper reel.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's going to be
I'll
great.
pay for that.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
When we get 100 followers, we will release our blooper reel, and it's epic. Some of them are just hilarious.
Well, it's like I think in the beginning, like half the recordings were bloopers.
Oh, we will stay on for like 2 hours trying to get through one 30-minute show. So funny. One of these days, I'm gonna have to wake up early enough so that way I could come on the morning show again.
When you had a blast, oh yeah, I love to have you, man.
Yeah,
the only thing you guys got to do is dial in on. I'll dial in on Skype. You see, you know where we're at. Just hit the button and we'll answer.
Yeah, but it's just for you, it's 7:30 in the morning. No.
Yeah.
It's 6:30 in the morning. For me, it's 7:30 in the morning, and I'm still asleep.
You can sleep an hour more.
No, not really, because I don't go to sleep until 5 in the morning.
I just hear violins right now.
I know, right? All right.
I hear the editing scissors coming.
Yep, click, click, click. All right, so listen, we want to make sure we let everybody know that they can still go to UFOBusterRadio.com, and you can even interact with Dave. He's on there. Marty's on there. And interact with them and discuss UFOs. Maybe we can introduce the Dave in the Morning Show to some of the weird stuff that's out there. Like I said, we have a lot of new members joining. You can blog, you can post discussions, and catch our shows.
I'm going to say I'm disappointed in Donna. She's not on our webpage yet. But I am going to say thank you to all our new followers. We gained like about 25 followers in the past 3 days. And I appreciate every single one of you. You guys are awesome. And I hope we'll get more. But for the guys who have been there from the very beginning, the first 25, we love you too.
And just to share everyone that we are now on TuneIn Radio. We're also on...
We're on TuneIn Radio. We're on TuneIn Radio now.
We're on TuneIn Radio. Hopefully soon we'll be on iHeart. And we're also on Apple's platform.
The
so you
iTunes?
Can catch us on iTunes as well.
Yeah, the Apple platform.
Okay, no, whoa. You guys are on... What did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong, man?
What are you talking about?
I applied these places and they bounced me back and they're like, we don't want you.
Really?
That's weird. Well, see, you have a website and everything, so they should. Maybe you need to do it again. Yeah. Go in there and resubmit your podcast.
But you want me to get humiliated again? The guy called me a loser. I got a note from the guy from iTunes.
You know what it is?
iTunes. And he's like, are you kidding me?
All you have to do is say one thing. We're with the UFO Busted guys to let you in.
There you go. Big O sent you.
Oh, okay. Note taken. Thank you.
You just say, hey, Big O sent me.
Big O. Big O.
And they'll be like, oh, back door, come on.
So listen, I got an update on Operation Ufology Elite. So, Dave, I don't know if you heard it during the live show. We were sending out questions to these people who are like the elite people in ufology or UFO research. And these guys have websites, YouTube channels, what name it. They have it. And so we sent an email, actually I did, last week to one of those elites, and he never responded and sent it twice. So we picked somebody else, and we picked Linda Moulton Howell, and she's from earthfiles.com. Great website. You can see a lot of the paranormal stuff on there. And I sent it on Friday, and I actually got a response today. Well, it turns out that she doesn't monitor her Facebook account. She's got people that do it. So, but they gave me an email address so that I can reach her directly.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we'll be reaching out to her. And if you listen to UFO podcasts or paranormal stuff, she's usually on there, being interviewed, and she's, I think she's a doctor actually. But she is very intelligent, and she does follow a lot of this paranormal stuff.
Wait a minute. She's a doctor in what?
I don't know.
So why you
just
say
a
she's a doctor?
I got it. No, hold on just a
What does
second.
that
man.
have to
Just
do
let y'all
with
know
UFOs
that
if this is...
they call me Dr. Love. Ooh.
So what's the point of her? What's the point of you saying that she's a doctor if everything about UFOs is pseudoscience? That's really irrelevant.
No, it's not irrelevant
How you
because doctors have formal ways of researching, and they apply that when it comes to ufology.
Yeah,
I mean, you just
Dr.
don't go in
Finkelstein.
there guns blazing. You got to have some kind of a method to
Well,
research.
that's what we gotta do.
Who's we?
We've been doing everybody. We gotta go in there, guns blazing. We've been tiptoeing and stepping, right? No, I'm wrong. Never mind.
You are absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna just drop it. But I'm saying, you know, sometimes is being patient sucks.
Okay.
Hello, somebody else for the doctor.
Where's Dr. Patel? Dr. Patel, set him straight.
Hello. How are you doing? By the way, I have a UFO story I can share with you real quick before you kick us off.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Let's hear it.
Okay. So, you know, in India, we have very hot peppers. And so what happened is I made some rice one day, brought it in to work for Dave. And then all of a sudden, I told him, I says, do not eat my lunch. Do not eat my, because he would go to the refrigerator and take the lunch. And I said, do not touch it. And when I was not looking, he took my lunch. And he began to eat my rice with the very hot peppers in it. And you know what? Dave was a UFO.
Did it come up
He
from
was,
Dave?
Because
He was a
flying to the
UFO.
bathroom.
Oh, yes, he was running. he was running for several days. Oh.
Well, guys,
You know,
we're down to our last.
That's the reason that I can't go on somebody else's show, man. You know, I just can't do this.
It's awesome.
Okay, well, listen, we're down to our last 4 minutes. So, Dave, why don't you go ahead and let the people know where they can find the Dave in the Morning Show.
Well, after today, probably not going to be out there anymore. It's you just have to go to the website, daveinthemorning.com, and just follow the yellow brick road.
Okay. All right, Dave. Well,
If you just click on the button, you know, then they'll take you to the, because we're on Spreaker as well as you guys are, and so we do our podcast on there. So if you go to Spreaker.com, type in "Who's the Idiot," and then it'll come up.
so we want to make sure everyone listens to our favorite morning show, Dave in the Morning, on Spreaker, and they're there. What is that? 6:30 Central.
Yep,
In the
6:30 a.m. Central. Mm-hmm. Or thereabouts. I should say thereabouts because sometimes what I'll do is I'll accidentally push the button and the show goes live and I have to pick it up and run.
There you go. And that's Monday through Friday.
Yeah, no weekends.
Big O, any last words? No? Okay, thank you. Is he even there?
I'm waiting for hold on. I'm waiting for him to. He might be gone.
No, I'm here.
Oh.
I think you kicked him off, man.
No, I accidentally hit the mute button.
Oh,
It
real
was,
smart.
that was so funny. But
Yeah.
Dave in the Morning Show, #idiot. That's going to be my new thing. So everything. Anyway, the last thing, like I said, please contact us. We have UFOBusterRadio.com. You can contact us on Facebook,
Say
on
that 5
Spreaker. I know, right? The struggle is real. So we have our own website.
And by the way, hey guys, by the way,
Oh.
thanks for letting me be on. I'll be sending the check in.
Perfect.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you, this is the most fun show. One of the most fun shows I've had. The other one was the wine and beer tasting seminar live. That was awesome.
Yeah, well, how many cases did you go through before that went south?
I'm
Probably
still
the first
going
beer.
through them.
Hey, Big O. Hey, that was pretty good, man. Can you tap another case, dude? Come on.
Oh man, you should.
Toga party. Come on, everybody. Hey, Guido, come here. No, put your clothes back on. Come on, man.
100 followers. I'm telling you, we're gonna release that blooper reel. 100 followers. We're gonna release a blooper reel. So Manny, he's gonna get on it, and I'm gonna just sit back and relax.
All right. So, it's time to sign off. So, Dave, you want to sign us off?
Oh, sure. And by the way, I am the originator of the word ciao. So, on behalf of Manny Moonraker, Big O, and the rest of the bunch here. Have a great day. Ciao.
Adios.
Laters.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection.
Welcome to UFO Buster Radio with your hosts, Manny Moonraker and Big O.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us on the UFO Buster Radio. This is episode 16. Your hosts, Manny Moonraker and Big O. Now, today is going to be a special day. I am so excited, so stoked. We have special guests on the show, and he's going to give us the 411 on an event coming up. What do you think, Manny?
Well, we're lucky to have today Daniel Jones, and he is going to clue us in on a special event coming out of Aurora, Texas on April the 16th. Daniel, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Manny. Thanks, guys. I'm honored to be on and for you to take your time to let me share about the event coming up in Aurora. We're really excited to be putting this together. It's called the Aurora Alien Encounter, and for those who aren't really very familiar, which I hope at some point, maybe by the end of the show you are, it's a commemorative event about a historical incident which happened, of course, in 1897, where a metallic cigar-shaped object came flying into Aurora, Texas from the south and crashed into Judge J.S. Proctor's windmill and exploded. And, of course, this sounds pretty incredible, but that's not even the big part. They, after the debris and everything, found remains of a body. And, of course, this is, yes, what many people have heard of as the alien that was recovered and then later buried from the remains, were buried in the local cemetery, which is actually where I'm broadcasting out of right now. I am here in the cemetery at the alien gravesite in Aurora, Texas. So how about that, guys?
Man, that's so exciting. Can you dig it up? Can we dig it up? I would so want to dig it up.
Well, it's interesting you mention that because back in the 70s, there was a big effort made to see about exhuming the body, to really kind of put this all to rest. And the city would not have it. They did not want anyone to dig up grandma or anything like that, And so because of that, the groups that were wanting to do this kind of got a little bit upset and threatened to sue the city of Aurora for not letting them exhume, this presumed alien body. So isn't that kind of interesting?
It really is. Now, this case right now is one of those pivotal cases because it's before the internet, it's before Photoshop, it's before YouTube. So this is one of those where it's really critical for us to really research, right?
Well, absolutely. Not only that, it's before any kind of conventional aircraft. This is before the Wright brothers. at least 6 years. And so the interesting thing is that around this time, you have what's referred to as the Great Airship Mystery. And there are a lot of very strange things being sighted all over, not just Texas, but all over the state. And so what we have is some form of aerial phenomenon that was very widespread all over the place, and people really took note of it. And I think that it really kind of messed with their psyche because, like you said, it was before the internet. It was before a lot of things that we understand today. And then, people look in the sky and you see an airplane, you see something, you say, okay, well, it's normal. Back then, there was nothing. And so this is an incredibly valuable incident because when it comes to UFOs, sure, it's great to have a sighting of something in the sky, but not only to see it, but to have it crash down is such an incredible thing. But not only that, but to have a body come out of it as well. This is really, I'd say, the smoking gun of most all of ufology in many ways, and not to dismiss anything else, but, this is 50 years before Roswell, so we're really dealing with a pretty significant incident that we're, interestingly enough, working with the city of Aurora to have an official resolution to recognize this as a historical incident. And, of course, if anyone's ever been out to Aurora, Texas, there's not a lot there. You stop by the cemetery, and there is a historical Texas marker where you can read about the spaceship crashing and the pilot being killed. So it's pretty neat that a city in Texas is looking to more or less be encouraged to share about this incident with the community. And, for a long time, it wasn't really something that these people wanted to be known for. They wanted to just keep their little town quiet. Of course, that's why they're out in the city. They wanted to move away from all the noise and everything. But I think it's something that more people now are open to in their understanding and awareness. So I think that it's great that we can finally have this kind of commemorative event. Once again, we're calling it the Alien Aurora Encounter. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. It's the Aurora Alien Encounter. Anyway, but it's going to be on April the 16th, which is a Saturday, so it's coming up pretty soon. And there's a lot of neat features. We have a lot of great special guests coming in. We're going to have a conference with speakers. There's going to be a documentary and a lunch that's catered by the resort that we're going to be holding it in, as well as a shuttle tour to go around to the original crash and burial sites. So we've got a full package deal, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Have you found any type of resistance from the local government or the government trying to say, no, you can't do this or anything like that? Or has everything been easy peasy, green light, get this all together?
Well, that's an interesting question because let's say 5 years, 10 years ago, even more than that, the city, for the most part, really didn't want to have much of an involvement with this. But with the current lineup within the city council, things have really kind of shifted around. We have Dr. Tony Wheeler, who's the city administrator, who is all for the whole alien kind of atmosphere. If you go to the city's website, auroratexas.gov, you'll notice immediately that the whole layout, everything, has an alien theme. And if you actually go there in person to the city hall, which is actually very small, it's not a large place, but you go in, you have all kinds of little alien memorabilia. There was a movie made about this called the Aurora Encounter back in, I think, the 80s. And there's even who they refer to as their local famous resident, Ned, who, of course, is the one who crashed. And so he's the local alien here. And so it's really interesting because the city is really pretty for it, but that's not always been the case. And some of the locals here, from what I understand, are still kind of a bit stirred up about it. And even though that's kind of always the case in some ways with these kinds of things, I think that as time goes, we'll have less and less resistance to just an open mind when it comes to these types of things because, of course, it's understandable in the 1800s to really be challenged with the idea of space flights and alien people and things going on like that. But when we're dealing with the time that we're living in now, people are a bit more open. Things are so much different than they've ever been. And so we can come to an understanding that I think is not as naive as maybe, some of the old-timers that have held on to their old ways. And not to make any negative remarks about anyone, but I think that it's something that, of course, will cause a little bit of an issue. And if anything, that's kind of an interesting aspect as well. I think that kind of goes all together with the whole vibe of the event. It's an interesting thing. It's weird. It's sort of mysterious. This all happened, and I could understand why people might not want to really be associated with that. This is a very conventional area that we live in, and so it's kind of understood that some people just want to keep their own ways and not really change anything. So I get that, but at the same time, I think as time goes, we'll be able to feel more comfortable as a community in dealing with these types of things. And who knows? I think this is going to end up being a pretty big deal in time to come. The city's really going to step it up and make sure that we can continue to have this kind of event for the years to come. So I'm excited about all of that.
I wonder if it gets as big as Roswell. You know how Roswell has an event almost every single year. Next thing you know, we're going to have a Aurora event every single year. The thing that I want to see most is that not only does it bring an open mind to the people in Aurora, Texas, but also it helps people to come forward and bring out more events that probably happen to them, and they can share it amongst people who not necessarily believe in anything, but will share it with an open mind.
Yeah, that's it. And, it's the same thing you guys are doing here, and all of your listeners. We all think about these things. We study them, we research, we investigate, we like to look into all of these really interesting topics. But when it comes to UFOs, unless you really are interested or hear about it or find out, you're not really going to learn very much. And so, like you're saying, this is going to be a great opportunity for the city to give the community the ability to come, find out more, learn about other ways you can get involved, like come listen to the UFO Buster radio show and find out more by all these different things. And so it'll help the community learn about all that we can when it comes to UFOs, aliens, government, things like that. I think it's all fascinating, and there's a lot to it. And there's so much that people can dig into that'll help their own understanding. But if they don't have the tools, and if it's not accessible, and there's not a community to support it, it really won't happen. So I really commend you guys for putting all of this together and allowing for this kind of platform to be held to where we can voice our opinion on things like UFOs and topics which aren't really too big in mainstream media.
So Daniel, that things like this and events like this really happen because of individuals like you who take the time to put these things together. Now, the event itself has some pretty interesting people involved, such as Travis Walton.
Yeah, we're really excited to have Travis out. He's a really great guy. You think that something like this, you would say, makes someone a certain way, or they might come off as egotistical or something. Travis is such a down-to-earth guy. Strange. It's kind of a pun to say, I guess, but it's really great because he's going to be the keynote speaker. For those of you who don't know the name Travis Walton, go watch the movie Fire in the Sky. And that's a movie based off of his experience. He underwent an incredible abduction experience where he and some coworkers were out driving in the woods to their job site, and along the way they saw an enormous glowing object, and Travis jumped out of the truck and ran up to it, and it zapped him, and his friends thought that he was immediately dead, and so they drove off, which, is unfortunate. They left him there. They thought he was dead, but it ended up being that Travis was taken aboard, and some things happened. I won't give it all away, of course, but I think it's a really pretty outstanding case that is one of the world's most well-known, and so I think that it's just such an honor to be able to have Travis out to share his own experience. Of course, we're going to have some other great speakers as well, like Jim Mars. Jim Mars is someone who's been a pioneer in all things paranormal and strange, and so I think that having him is going to really be just such an incredible part of the event. He's going to be premiering a documentary that he's put together about the Aurora crash, so that's going to be a really nice time. We also have other speakers like Nick Redfern, who's going to be speaking on several UFO cases that are well known in Texas. Of course, many of you probably have seen Nick on shows like Ancient Aliens, and he's really a prolific writer and does an amazing job on, of course, all things paranormal as well. We also have Tui Schneider, who will be speaking about what I like to refer to as the Texas airship mystery. All these different airships that were sighted not only in Aurora, but all over Texas around the time of the event here in Aurora in 1897. She'll be speaking on those incidences and also how it sort of affected the psyche of the public, how they might have seen these things as like an omen of the end times. So we also have Stephen Androsco, who is a UFO researcher. He's going to be speaking on Cowboys and Aliens, the real version, not just the movie, but real incidences of UFO encounters of the Wild West all throughout the 1800s. And so this is actually going to be something he's going to be sharing about, which is a work of another author who is a speaker that's going to be here as well, Noe Torres. And Noe is going to be speaking on the Del Rio UFO crash of 1955, where an Army pilot was flying and saw a UFO, a saucer-shaped disc, crash down by the Texas-Mexico border, just over the Rio Grande, and basically flew his jet down, landed, and went to go find out what it was, and looked inside. And we have some great aerial footage that we took earlier this year of that location, exactly where it crashed, and so he's excited to bring that as well. So we just have a fascinating lineup of great speakers to just inform everyone about UFOs and Aurora and Texas mysteries in general. It's going to be very interesting, not to mention the tours that we're going to be offering as well. The city will be arranging tours every half hour throughout the duration of the conference to be able to go to the Aurora crash and burial site where the ship originally crashed and where the alien body was buried within the cemetery as well. And that's going to be guided by City Administrator Dr. Tony Wheeler, who I was mentioning a moment ago. So it's going to be a fascinating day. We're really excited to be putting this together. And, if anyone's interested, if they can't come in person, you can always watch the event live online. We're excited to be able to provide this service to those of you who can't really make it out to, the middle of nowhere out in Aurora, which, actually it's only about 20 to 30 minutes northwest of Fort Worth. So it's not too far for those that within the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but anyone a little bit out of the way, feel free to tune in. And there's information you can get in order to do that at my website, vortexes.net.
So I was going to ask you about that.
Sure.
Okay, so here's my question. One, you have a group called vortexes.com, and how do you... It seems like when you went to these sites, you kind of did it in a scientific manner, kind of like a ufology manner. How will you... It's almost like archaeological site, how you lay everything out, take pictures and everything, like trying to be a more scientific way.
It's really important to document a lot of what we're dealing with, not just so we can preserve its historical value, but to be able to share it for people who don't know much about it. And one of the interesting things when it comes to Aurora is the gravestone, the headstone of the gravesite where the alien body was buried, has been taken numerous times. And, it's only because of a few pictures of the original headstone that we even know what it looks like. It's not there anymore, and, there's some ideas about where it is, but it's because we can preserve those types of documents that we know about some of these things. And I think that's kind of how we get anywhere or a lot of places by doing a very intricate analysis and investigation, but at the same time, make it enjoyable, make it accessible to people, make sure that we're not just I think it's important to allow anyone to learn about it, but make sure that not anyone can just go and mess things up as well. So it's important that we have the right protocols in place, but at the same time, we need people to be more educated in how to do those things. So I'm all for being able to have those kinds of standards in some way, and I think it's what we offer. The network that I've put together, I like to call Vortexes, and the website is vortexes.net. And right now I'm in the process of kind of reconstructing some things, but we also are on Facebook and Meetup and YouTube, things like that. I like to be able to document a lot of these types of events, functions, conferences, so that it's available and the public can have access to them. So, for instance, you'll notice on our channel, we have dozens of videos that cover not just things like UFOs, but all sorts of interesting phenomena, all kinds of areas relating to supernatural, the metaphysical, the spiritual, things like that. And hence why I like to use the term vortexes. We have so many things here that go on that I find incredible, and I think a lot of people do as well, and they kind of see how it connects together in some way. So we like to incorporate that.
So, Daniel, we're going to make sure that we have a link to the Eventbrite site so that people can actually go on and, purchase their tickets and join the event and really take in the Aurora atmosphere as far as what's happening in Aurora, what happened before, and what's happening now. But before we let you go, we kind of want to know a little bit more about you. How did Daniel get into ufology and the UFO events?
Sure. It's always really interesting because I think that with a lot of the information that we have now, it's easy for people to get a hold of. You can watch TV and find out about all these shows and everything, and you go online, watch interviews, and that's all great. But for me, I think personally, having some of the experiences that I've had and making an effort to understand them a little better has driven me to all of these different areas in a greater depth that I don't think I ever would have unless I was prodded to by different experiences of the paranormal and supernatural. And so when it comes to UFOs, people automatically assume aliens. And while that's something we can't rule out, I think that there are many different things that we also have to take into consideration. So when people go through different experiences, as some of the things that I've had happen, I find that if you don't do anything, if you suppress it and don't tell anyone, you're kind of doing yourself and perhaps others a disservice. And, maybe in some ways you're keeping things safe, but I think if you can explore something that has happened to you with more depth, if you find something that you can research, if you look into it, you can really start to understand what's going on a little better. And for myself personally, I started trying to research a lot of what I was experiencing, and through this, I've come across different books, different authors, and I've looked into how can I be actively involved in my own community? What's going on here that will help me feel like I'm not crazy? It's like, what can I do to secure my sanity, so to speak? And I found that there's actually a lot of groups around here that are actively involved in pursuing the unknown and the mysterious. So I thought, I'd like to see what this is about, and I got involved in different groups, and I've met people, and I've done things that I have completely changed my life, and in a good way, of course. But at the same time, I think that it's the initial push of exploring what it is that we're dealing with to help us with a better understanding. And so I've always kind of had a fascination in some weird areas, but to the extent that I've really driven into all of these topics, I think it's probably more than the common person, of course, and I think that I'm okay with that. But really, all of these different areas, UFOs, cryptozoology, the paranormal, spectrology and spirits and entities, or even the metaphysical aspect of the world and spirituality, I think that there is all sort of a linking thread that intertwines all of these different areas, and that to me is what really drives my interest overall, and I think that it helps bring out the best in people when they can find some meaningful insight into their experience and be able to perhaps provide that for others as well. So for myself, I think personal and direct experience lends insight to what we can learn by investigating, by experimenting, by just pushing ourselves to make known, or in an attempt to know a little bit more about what we're dealing with in our own life. Because if we're just completely oblivious to something and we want to ignore it, like I said earlier, I think we're kind of doing ourselves a disservice and tuning out of something which could provide a great deal of value to our lives overall. And so I enjoy all of these different subjects, and I think that if more people were open-minded and more considerate, that we'd find out a lot more about this world than we really know in what meets the eye.
We totally agree with you, Daniel, because one of the things that Big O and I often talk about is that ufology really should be an open community rather than certain individuals, holding on to all the information.
Yeah, I think that it's something that for either certain purposes of military, government, or otherwise, there's a certain standard of recognition that has to be taken where, only these people, this is exclusive to only this person. And I think that because of that, the quality of some information can be upheld. But if it's never distributed, then it's kind of unfortunate because this could lend insight to so many aspects of humanity that have been veiled for so long. And I think it is important to unveil a lot of the things that have been kept from us. So I'm doing my part to make sure that we can have access to some things that maybe aren't as accessible or, haven't been in the past.
So, Daniel, you've been very informative, but before we let you go and end this interview, Big O has this question he likes to ask everyone that comes on the show.
Actually, I have two questions, but we're going to do my main question first. So, here's my first question. The first question is, if you had an extraterrestrial right in front of you, facing you, looking at you right now, and you're acting basically as an ambassador for all human race, what would you do? Now, before you answer that, you have to keep in mind that whatever you do could either be eternal peace and great technology or complete Earth destruction. What would you do?
The irony of your question is I actually am standing in front of an alien. Unfortunately, it happens to be a dead one in a grave under the ground, but it's a very good question because I think that a lot of people don't consider that. And I guess you're suggesting, whatever I choose could either be the two extremes of peace or destruction.
Correct.
If I get that correct.
Yep.
So this is something I can ask the alien?
No. Well, basically, the alien is looking at you and looking at your behavior, whether your action or what you say. And anything can be taken as a really good positive or a negative. So what would you do? Would you just sit there and not do nothing? Or would you interact? Or would you pass out? Because Manny says he'll pass out. So, and me, I would give the Vulcan peace sign because I would consider that the aliens has been getting signals from Earth from way back when, and hope they know that the Vulcan live long and prosper thing will actually mean peace. Hope, but that's my thing.
Very nice. Well, I see what you mean now, and that's very interesting. I think that I would hold space silently, but I would project an intention because I imagine that I probably don't have to use words to communicate if I'm in that proximity with an advanced being. I would presume that they can probably communicate telepathically, and the intention that I would open would be that of compassion and recognition that we are inherently connected, but there is also the recognition that we are of different, not just different planets, things like that, we're of a different existence, but that we exist simultaneously and that we are also interconnected, and that it's kind of like I would imagine a lamb or a gazelle, I guess it would be better, a gazelle looking at a lion right before it eats it, and it says to it, I understand that you have to eat me, and I understand that this is simply a cycle of life, and I hold no regret or remorse for this situation. And I think it would be kind of like that, where I recognize that this being has tremendous power that could easily be used to destroy or help. And I think that through honoring that recognition, there might be the slight chance that it would be reciprocated. So, to put it simply, I think that just simply to be in recognition of conscious awareness of each other, but to understand it as a peaceful gesture, not like, I guess I'm dead now or something. I think that
right. if I give up hope.
I'm very hopeful, and I think that we have the ability to grow just as these advanced civilizations have done. I think that they're hopeful for us to do that, and so I think that I would look through reflective eyes in a situation where they may have once been, and say or think, admit the energetic thought of we are, essentially that we essentially are one together, and that it's in recognition of your capability to be as advanced as you are, that also that potential resides within us as well. And I think that there's so many words that we can use, but I think just emitting that type of energy is something that we consciously understand beyond words. And so, not to make it too complicated, but I think just that recognition of the very sort of sacred and mystical understanding would be there. So, yeah.
My second question is, me as a blue-collar, just getting... Literally, I got into this in November of last year, okay? So, I don't know much. You know a plethora of information. So, to the average Joe, what would you consider, or what would you tell them to help them get started into it in a safe way and not be scared to the point where they think the Earth is going to end tomorrow?
In regard to just UFOs and things like that in general?
Just getting information.
Okay. Well, here's the number one thing that I think a lot of people take for granted. When we go to school, we're told how to think and what to think and things like that. We're not really able to make a lot of decisions for ourselves until later on in life, where we think, I grew up thinking this, or maybe I was raised this, or my heritage is this, so that automatically means that I'm this or that. When we start to really question our own reality, what if this, or what about this, we start to kind of open up the explorative, creative parts of our self. And I think when we tap into that lends so much to getting anywhere. And I think that as far as information, there's so much, I could say go to the internet and all this and YouTube and everything, but I think what's really important is look within yourself. All of these things are inherently inside of you and a part of you already. You would like the information, look within yourself, meditate, find space, to be able to really take the time to concentrate on what it is that you'd like to be able to know more about. And then from there, see what comes up. If you feel like you need to go, look into a book, go to a bookstore, look in the different sections, go to, go online, go to a friend, go, look who, what kind of groups are in your area. See how you can be actively involved in making an adjustment in your own awareness to improve it in some way. And I think that's where we start with any great invention or creation or ideas, by, being active within our own ability.
That is fantastic advice. And again, we have Daniel Jones on the line. The event is the Aurora Alien Encounter, April 16th, out in Aurora, Texas. I guess that's it, Daniel. Do you have any last words for our fans?
I just want to thank you guys so much for letting me come on and say all this stuff. I know it's probably a little bit over time, but I'm honored to be here, and I'm glad that you guys are doing what you're doing. And thanks to all the people tuning in as well. And we're looking forward to seeing everyone out there on next Saturday, April the 16th at the Aurora Alien Encounter. And you can always stay up to date with different events around the area. You just go to vortexas.net, and I'm available anytime for anyone that's like to get together. And I enjoy meeting everyone, and it's just been a great time. So I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
We need to have him back on the show later after the event. I'm just saying, there's so much information.
Yeah, we'll definitely get together and have like a post-event show. I'm thinking pretty sure I'm going to be attending the event, and I'll have some information for the listeners. And maybe we can have Daniel back, and he can give us the behind-the-scenes info.
Well, that sounds great, guys. I really appreciate it, and hope you have a good day.
Thank you, Daniel.
All right, that was awesome.
Well, that was a great interview we just had with Daniel Jones, and all the information for the event on April 16th will be available on the show description. But before we leave this episode, Big O has some information for us.
Big O, it's showtime!
So what's in the ozone, Big O?
So today in the ozone, I was looking up some websites, and what I found on latestUFOsightings.net, it says the best, and I quote, the best UFO videos, March 2016.
Oh, which that's is this year. This month.
Right?
Well, actually, we're in April.
Technically. But still, early in April. It's only April 3rd. And I'm looking through these videos, and some of these videos are interesting, some of them not so much. Now, one of the videos I wanted to point out, it was on the 6th of March, 2016. It said ring-shaped object. It was in Sydney, Australia, and posted on YouTube by UFO to Go 2016. Now, I'm giving him a shout out, but I'm not lie to you. For the first 7 or 6 minutes of this video that I was watching, I thought the guy was an idiot. Straight up idiot. I almost just threw it away. But
so what did he do the first 6 minutes?
For the first 6 minutes, he was showing airplanes, but they were so far in camera view that he was considering them UFOs. But there's something on the airplanes that is very distinctive. They're called collision lights. Now, if you don't know what they are, if you ever look in the sky, you see an airplane, you see the flashing lights on each side of the airplane and maybe on the back and on the tail. And they do that so that way they can see each other at nighttime or just better visual. Now, usually I believe that on the right wing, it's a strobing light of red, and on the left wing, that's a strobing light of green. Happened way back when they all decided that all these planes, it would be a good idea to have them. And if you look within the first 7 minutes, these planes had those lights. So I'm like, okay, debunked. This guy's an idiot. Whatever. But 7 minutes into the video, they showed this, what looked like a liquid metal vortex. And it's just hovering in the sky. And what's interesting about this one is that you can see it move, and you can see it reflect light, and it's just very interesting. I would definitely consider it a UFO. Would I consider it as a extraterrestrial UFO? No. It's just something very out of the ordinary.
So something completely unidentified.
Completely. Now, if it's CG, it's a really good one. You know, and I linked that one because there's another one in March 16th on the same webpage. Same thing, ring-shaped UFO in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And what's cool about this one was that you would see a plane flying by, and when you see a plane flying by in high altitude, you see like a vapor cloud from the plane.
Right.
And you'll see it go somewhat close to this UFO, and as the person zooms in, it can almost see like a ring. Now, what's distinct about this and what makes it weird, could it be a weather balloon reflecting the light of the sun? Could be, because it's at different angles, you can see like a spot that turns into a ring. So is it debunked? Is it not? Is it something really, really shiny? Don't know. So those things I would like people to take a look at and, you know, just to be the judge for themselves, and then post your opinion on UFOBusterRadio.com. Just saying, plug. Anyway, the other video I want to go over was on March 9th, and this was in Scotland. Cool thing about this video, it reminded me of the event in Arizona.
The Phoenix Lights incident?
Yes! The Phoenix Light incident, the military said they was experimenting with these flares, correct? Correct. Now, these flares were not unlike other flares. They will fall to the ground eventually. Well, in this video, these lights just appeared in the sky, multiple, and then disappeared. They didn't go up, they didn't go down. It was like they were suspended in midair. Now, it wasn't like they were rising up in the sky, lit, and then, you know, they disappear. Literally, they would turn on, right? The light will be, a really bright light will be on in midair, and then eventually fall away or just dim out. That I want to investigate a whole lot more too, because it reminds me of the, you know, Phoenix incident, and it's one of those things that if we continue to put inklings together from around the world, kind of like make a database, that would be awesome.
And you know what? One of the things that the Phoenix incident movie alluded to was the fact that these things, these similarities, these inklings that happen from cities in the United States actually happening around the world. It's not just in Phoenix that we see those type of UFOs or sightings, but they're happening everywhere.
Especially certain shapes. Like we always hear about cigar shapes UFOs and triangular UFOs. Now, the whole flying saucers and stuff like that, it's kind of like a maybe, maybe not, because that turned into a folklore. People made movies about them. But the triangular shape and the cigar-shaped ones, those I want more inklings on, because those are the ones that you see and you hear about, and there's a huge backstory behind them.
As Big O mentioned earlier, UFOBusterRadio.com is where you can engage with us, and we'll be posting some of this information on there also, as well as in the description of the show, so that while you're listening, you can click on the links and kind of take a look at these videos yourself.
Definitely. Also, I have to make an announcement that we have hit our mark in followers. So, we're going to have to post a blooper reel. What do you think, Manny?
I think it's going to be hilarious because we just experienced a blooper recently. You guys are not going to hear until the blooper reel. However, yes, we are going to post it as a separate, episode. It'll be posted separately during the week. I assume we do have a lot of time to cut through a lot of recorded files. So we will probably post this in about 2 weeks, and we'll label it Blooper Reel 1, because I'm sure we'll have plenty throughout the rest of the show.
If you guys heard the blooper reel that was on there recently, I'm hoping that the blooper reel of today's show will be on there. If not, the next one will be hilarious. So I hope you guys stay tuned for the blooper reel part 2, because there's going to be more. And also, please visit us on our UFOBusterRadio.com. Join, spread it. You can even spread it on Pinterest. Hey, spread it. Spread the love. Give it to everybody. Give it to your mom. Give it to your dad. Give it to your dog. Give it to whoever is someone interested and they feel alone. Like me sometimes.
Poor guy.
I know. Pity.
All right, so we want to thank again Daniel Jones for coming out and chatting it up with us. It was a very interesting interview, and again, we'll link up that event for the Aurora, Texas.
And UFO Buster Radio is going to be there. What?
So, Big O, any last words before we close the show?
Oh, yeah, everybody stay cool, stay calm. You know, if you have an event, if you have a situation that you want to talk about that's UFO or extraterrestrial or paranormal related, talk to us. Hell, join us on UFOBuster.com. Put it out there. There's more people. You're not alone.
And in the words of the great Dave in the morning show, ciao.